Alright guys, so today we'll be solving paper 2, 9618 CIE A level computer science. It's for May-June 2022. Before starting off, I'm just going to very quickly refer to this particular thing that you guys need to know. You guys need to know about the fact that we are given an insert, and that insert essentially contains, some important information that we might need, for example, string functions. And honestly, ever since they've started giving the insert, I believe it's comparatively a lot more easier, I think now. It wasn't the case when we were studying. I remember when I gave my A level, it wasn't the case. You were not given much. But anyway, um, it gives you some functions that you can use. You should be aware of them. I think you should be aware of them already. I mean, even without having the insert given to you. But anyway, the insert is a useful, handy tool, and throughout the paper as we'll be solving, we'll try to refer to the insert as well, just so that we know if we are using any part. Okay, anyway, let's get started off with the first question. What does it say? It says complete the following table but given the appropriate data type. Data type is a pretty easy and pretty straightforward concept. So hopefully most of you should not have a problem with it. The name is Catherine. It's a variable, so it's obviously going to be a string. Remember, a string is again what? Essentially a string of characters. So whenever we see a lot of characters, we can actually see that. The next thing is index 100. So it's obviously going to be an integer. Just letting you know for your knowledge, of course, at this point, that if the integer was maybe, let's say, 100.0, we would have said double or real. I mean, both are the right ways. Or we could have even said float. All of them, they mean the same thing. Modified false, remember, true and false only stands for Boolean. And holiday is data values perfectly date, so we'll just say date. And just on this note, I'll just say that if maybe it was like this, 25 12 2020, then we would have called it a string, because that means it's a string. I'm only talking about these things because obviously we can have variable amount of stuff when we are going on, and um, so having our exam, it's not obviously going to be like this. Okay, so it says evaluate each expression by using the initial data values. So basically, the data values which are given in part A, we will actually use this, and we will actually go on and see what is going to return us. Either going to be whatever the return is going to be. So since this is again a logical operator and an or not, their logical operators have here. So it says modified or index is greater than 100. So modify is false, as we know from the top. So since this is false, index is greater than 100. Index is 100, which is not greater than 100. So this will also return as false. This is a relational operator. So false or false is obviously going to be a false. Remember? All right. Length of the student. Okay, now this is actually pretty straightforward, but just a little thing where I've seen students make a little mistake. And okay, so length is just going to return how many letters, how many alphabets, how many characters are there in my whole thing. Remember, and essentially concatenates them together. So the name is going to be Catherine. So this is going to be replaced by, so the name is going to be replaced by Catherine, of course. So as we know, Catherine is the data in the variable of name on top, right? So we will just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this is usual, but remember there is a space as well, so it will be the ninth. The space is considered as a separate character. Always remember that. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So this is going to return 18 because the length of when we concatenate student and the name Catherine together. Remember, not just the student, there is a space as well. Remember this. Okay, so it says integer index plus uh, 2.9. The index is 100, so this is essentially going to be what? 102.9. But since this is an int, so we'll just pick the integer value out. So it's going to be 102. Mid name 1 comma 3. Now remember, mid is a function. I believe this would be given to you. Yes, very good, very good. It's how we realize it. So mid, I mean, whenever using the mid function, what we do is that we give it the string, okay, and we give it the starting point. Yeah, this is the starting point, and this is the number of letters you want to pick. So, for example, as the example says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So I give it this string. 2 is telling me where do I want to start. It means I want to start at the second place, so I'll start at B. And it needs to, and 3 is telling me the number of letters, the number of characters I'll pick. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's why it gives me BCD back. So basically, the second, this value is where I need to start, and this is the number of characters, or the number of characters, yeah, the number of alphabets you want to pick up. So it says mid name. So the name obviously is going to be Catherine. So it wants to start at yeah, so for Catherine, it's want to start at the first value. So of course it'll start at this, and it's to pick the three characters. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. So the answer for this is going to be cat. All right. So okay, each pseudocode contains an example of selection, assignment, or iteration. Now remember, before actually going in this, remember what selection. Selection is decision making, and decision making is if else, or the other is our switch case statements. Assignment is wherever we are placing a value. Iteration is whenever there is repetition, so whenever there's something which is repeating. So index equal to index plus 1, we are assigning a value, we're giving some value. So this is assignment. If modified equals true, it's selection because there's an if. And end while is a part of the while loop, which is again a loop, which is iteration. Hence this would come under the banner of iteration or iteration.